The film kicks off in 1962, aboard an Italian ocean liner named Graza. Francesca, a singer, entertains the guests as they joyfully dance the night away. Amidst the crowd, young Katie sits alone, lacking a dance partner. The ship's captain notices her predicament and invites her to the dance floor. However, the lively atmosphere takes a dark turn when an unknown individual activates a lever, causing a wire cord to tighten and snap across the dance floor, tragically dividing the passengers and crew. The sole survivor on the dance floor is Katie, spared due to her petite stature. The scene then shifts 40 years into the future, where Captain Murphy leads a salvage crew of 6 in rescuing a random vessel from the sea. They successfully bring the ship ashore and decide to celebrate at a nearby pub. Here, they encounter Jack, an old acquaintance working in the marine industry, who shares a tantalizing rumor about a ghost ship from 1962. Allegedly, the ship harbors a chest of gold that has been missing for 5 decades. The person responsible for bringing the ship to shore has the right to claim whatever lies within. Intrigued, the crew decides to embark on a quest to locate the ship using their salvage tug. The following day, after a lengthy journey, they arrive at their destination only to find that the tracker indicates no ships in the vicinity. Doubting its reliability, they investigate and conclude that the earlier report was a hoax. Just as they consider turning back, a colossal commercial ship looms before them. Their boat collides with the ship, but fortunately, the impact is non-damaging. Contemplating who should enter first, Jack and crewmate Greer opt to remain on their vessel while the remaining 4 cautiously step onto the massive ship. Within moments of their arrival, the group encounters unsettling paranormal phenomena. Strange noises echo, and shadows flit through the dim corners. Initially attributing it to the wind, they press on. However, on the upper deck, a Scrabble board shifts on its own, forming the words "Welcome aboard." As they continue, one crew member, M, stumbles into a hole but is rescued by the sole woman in the group, Maureen. While she pulls him to safety, the ghostly figure of Katie, the little girl from the past, suddenly materializes in the background. She vanishes in an instant, leaving Maureen bewildered, unsure if what she witnessed was real. A bit further into their exploration, the group stumbles upon a modern digital watch lying on the floor. Recognizing that such watches didn't exist in 1962, they speculate that someone else may have been on the ship before them. Despite this discovery, the captain decides to press on with the search the next day, considering the ship's vast size. During a quiet night, when Maureen is alone, Jack approaches her, sensing her tension after her heroic act with Mund. Upon learning about the little girl, Jack falls silent for a few moments, hinting at hidden knowledge. Instead of revealing it, he suggests that Maureen get some rest to shake off any hallucinations. The next day, the crew gathers to plan their strategy. They've found that the ship is gradually sinking due to damage at its base. They decide to spend 3 days fixing it in the water before returning to shore with the entire vessel. Without wasting time, they dive into their respective tasks across the ship. Meanwhile, Maureen explores and reaches the swimming pool area. To her surprise, she notices bullet marks on the wall, contradicting the earlier explanation of passengers drowning. As she attempts to climb out of the pool, she unexpectedly encounters Katie again. Startled, Maureen falls off the ladder, injuring her head. However, when she looks back up, Jack now stands in the spot where Katie appeared just moments before. Unaware that Maureen's blood is mysteriously disappearing from the pool, Jack and Maureen move on. Suddenly, the bullet holes in the pool area begin seeping blood, turning the entire pool into a gruesome spectacle. Undeterred, Jack and Maureen decide to explore the ship further. Their curiosity leads them to the laundry room, where they discover an uncharted door not present in the ship's blueprint. Upon opening it, a powerful rush of water pushes them back, revealing a room filled with mutilated corpses. Panic sets in as both Jack and Maureen attempt to escape, but the door they entered through locks, leaving them with no choice but to venture deeper into the ship. Meanwhile, Captain Murphy finds himself in the captain's lounge. Spotting an open bottle of alcohol, he reaches for it, only to see the reflection of the ship's original captain in the mirror, an eerie encounter with the supernatural. Unaware of these paranormal activities, Greer occupies himself, only to be startled by the haunting voice of Francesca, the same performer from 1962, singing in the distance. In another part of the ship, Jack and Maureen stumble upon a chest brimming with blocks of gold, collectively worth millions of dollars. Excitedly, they gather the crew and unveil the treasure. This windfall means they no longer need to repair the ship and can return home with the valuable bounty. In the subsequent scene, everyone works together to load the gold into their boat. Santos, the mechanic, diligently cleans the engines in preparation for their departure. Unbeknownst to him, someone maliciously releases propane from a cylinder behind him, leading to a devastating explosion. Santos loses his life, and the boat is destroyed, leaving the crew shocked and grief-stricken. Amidst the chaos, Morin recalls seeing Katie just before the explosion, sensing an attempt to warn her. Determined to uncover the truth, Morin investigates Katie's identity, discovering her room number in the passenger registry. Entering the room, she is met with a shocking scream, but as she composes herself, Morin approaches Katie's lifeless body and takes a necklace from it. To her surprise, Katie's spirit appears, pleading for the necklace. Morin tries to hand it over, but it passes through Katie's ethereal form. Meanwhile, in the ballroom, Greer experiences an uncanny transformation. The once wrecked space reverts to its pre-incident appearance, with guests surrounding him, behaving as if it were a typical lively party. Furthermore, Francesca develops a peculiar interest in Greer, engaging in flirtation and manipulating him into a kiss, despite his fiancée waiting for him at home. The kiss entangles Greer in a web of allure, and he follows Francesca as she undresses. However, his pursuit takes a tragic turn as he falls from a high platform, resulting in his death. The enchanting woman then reveals her true, deformed face. Meanwhile, in Katie's room, she and Morin engage in conversation. Katie discloses that those who perished on the ship 40 years ago have been trapped, unable to move on to the afterlife. A powerful force binds them to the ship, preventing them from reaching heaven. Katie explains that the only way to free their souls is to destroy the ship. Before revealing the identity of this powerful force, the room's walls change colors, causing Katie to panic. She urges Morin to run before vanishing. In another part of the ship, Murphy searches for the crew but is attacked by hallucinations of Santos, the crew member who died in the earlier explosion. Convinced Morin is also a ghost, Murphy attacks her, attempting to end her life. Morin, however, manages to defend herself by stabbing his feet. Jack intervenes, knocking Murphy unconscious. Concerned for their safety, they confine him in a drained fish tank and lock him inside. Despite their initial focus on the gold, the crew's priorities shift to returning to land safely. They continue repairing the ship, finally completing the task after hours of effort. However, with Greer still missing from the lounge area, worry looms over the group. As the crew completes their last-minute checks, Morin searches for Greer once again. Encountering Katie once more, the little girl insists on revealing the haunting events from 40 years ago. The ship is depicted as vibrant with lively chatter and laughter. Yet unbeknownst to the passengers, the co-captain has persuaded the entire crew to commit a heinous act for the discovered gold. The cooks poison the food with rat poison, claiming the lives of many passengers. This is followed by a dance floor massacre, where the remaining survivors are ruthlessly shot in the pool area. Katie herself meets a tragic end, being dragged into her room and hanged. The crew members, driven by greed, rush to the treasure, only to face the co-captain's ruthless betrayal. Teaming up with Francesca, he eliminates every crew member. In a surprising twist, Francesca turns on him, shooting him in the head. Her true lover, the mastermind behind the massacre, is revealed. To everyone's shock, the orchestrator of the atrocities is none other than Jack, who had been posing as a member of the crew. He is not merely human, but a demonic spirit of a deceased sinner. After the gruesome killings, Jack and Francesca share a passionate kiss. However, the horror doesn't end there, as Jack coldly kills Francesca by releasing a hook that slashes into her neck, hooking her life away. The revelation of Jack's demonic nature adds another layer of terror to the unfolding events on the haunted ship. Jack's true nature as a demonic entity, his sinister purpose to instigate sin and claim souls for hell. It dawns on her that Jack was the one who led them to the ship, and she rushes to warn the others about the murderous entity on board. M is scuba diving in the flooded engine room, and Morin decides to follow him. However, the pipes suddenly fill with blood, signaling M's demise. Someone had pulled him into the gears, grinding him to death. Undeterred, Morin proceeds to set explosives on the ship to end the haunting. In the meantime, Dodge and Jack are left alone. Jack, reveling in his malevolent games, incites a fight, and in a fit of rage, Dodge shoots him, presuming him dead. Dodge then approaches Morin, proudly declaring that he killed Jack, and proposes they start a new life together using the gold. Contemplating the offer, Morin astutely questions why Dodge hasn't inquired about M, who is still missing. The shocking truth unfolds. M is in fact Jack, who orchestrated this elaborate plan to tempt Moraine into sin. The revelation sends shivers down Moraine's spine, realizing the sinister depths of the demonic entity's games. As long as the ship endures, the trapped souls will never find release. Jack, recognizing Moraine's inherent goodness, proposes a deal to spare her life in return for her agreement not to disrupt his established rules. However, in response, Moraine triggers the explosives, resulting in the ship being obliterated. As the debris settles, Moraine escapes by leaping into the water, where she struggles beneath the surface. In a serendipitous turn, Katie arrives just in time, rescuing Moraine from the aquatic turmoil. Amid the wreckage, the departed souls find liberation. The following day, a passing cruise ship discovers Moraine, adrift on a makeshift raft, and promptly rescues her. As she is being transported away in an ambulance, Moraine observes the loading of a crate filled with gold onto another cruise ship. To her astonishment, Jack, seemingly resurrected, is plotting to perpetuate the cycle of wrongdoing.